Good morning, everybody. This particular video is going to be a general video on the idea of Make in India that has been envisaged and promoted by the BJP government since the last two terms of the NDA. What I want to talk about is not really scandalous, but something that is very, very critical to the idea of Make in India that has been promoted as the bedrock of India moving towards a 5 trillion economy by the BJP led NDA government. In this particular idea, what I want to highlight is that the emphasis is on manufacturing. The emphasis is on manufacturing because it has been neglected. It has been the neglected sector for the last 40 to 50 years. It is something that needs to be addressed in order to create much more jobs that India needs in order to bring a lot of its population out of poverty. However, there is a caveat, and it is this particular caveat that I want to talk about. But before that, let me just highlight that what India and the BJP government are trying to do is to follow the model that has been adopted by first the West and then China, South Korea, and other such ASEAN nations, which is that they became the manufacturing hub of consumer goods that were consumed widely across the globe. It is this particular tendency to become the consumer good manufacturing hub of the next hub of consumer goods manufacturing, which India has to take with a pinch of salt. Why? Because consumer good manufacturing is now subjected to two, in fact, forces. One of them is actually the age old force, the other one is actually a new one. The age old force that we're talking about, which affects consumer good manufacturing or manufacturing for that particular matter, is that labor has to be cheap in order to ensure that the price of the consumer good that has been launched in the market stays competitive. China did exactly that. China outpriced everybody through state sponsored policies or whatever. I mean, those whatever could include violating human rights, violating environmental norms, and so on and so forth. However, India, till this particular point of time, does not aim to do something like this. India has had a good track record of being a, a follower of labor laws as well as environmental policies. So there have been sporadic instances where all of these were violated, but nevertheless, India has largely been a follower of them. The second thing that we have to talk about is the uh, introduction of artificial intelligence in programmable logic controllers and the introduction of labor robots that we are soon going to see. In fact, every industrial nation across Asia as well as Western world is actually integrating a lot of, in fact, improving the number of labor robots that are working inside their factory plants. And that is something that even India would have to do in order to stay competitive, because the problem is that these labor robots, they can actually work 24/7 and they can produce a superior quality good, be it any everyday household item or be it a car. In fact, this is something that we have seen being applied to space technology as well. So this is something that India has to both pursue and at the same time be wary of. So both, if in case India has to keep its competitiveness, it has to ensure that the rates in India, the rates of manufactured goods that are produced in India stays competitive, and at the same time, the pressure to address this particular anomaly by introducing labor robots, which can actually replace the job of manual laborers, which comprise a large section of the Indian workforce. This is something that India would have to actually keep in mind. So this is the stark reality that we are facing, and another important reality is that India, in fact, cannot be the world manufacturing hub. Why? Because again, if in case the companies for whom India intends to produce these goods, uh, they find a suitable replacement where labor is cheap, labor is actually in fact qualified as you know as good as India's, then they are going to shift from India to those countries. and that has happened already, in the past, with industries such as the textile industries, as well as industries such as the business process outsourcing and knowledge process outsourcing. So this is something that India would have to always be wary of. And in order to, in fact, address this particular problem, I propose that India and the Indian governments should always be looking at not becoming the original equipment manufacturing hub of this world, but the original equipment design of this particular hub. Only then can we actually see improvement in the living standards of the population of India, and only then can we actually truly, realize the vision of becoming a, a 21st century 5 trillion economy. In fact, we can actually go beyond that if in case we simultaneously work upon the idea that we have to design unique solutions to the products or to the problems that we have at hand too. So this would be all.